There's a very specific feeling that doesn't get talked about enough. It's that moment when you open your banking app, maybe late at night, maybe after a long day, and you already know what you're going to see. But you still check anyway. And there it is, $0 saved. Or close enough that it doesn't really matter. And what hits harder isn't even the number, it's the quiet thought that follows it. Like, I've been working, I've been earning, I've been trying, so why does it still feel like I'm starting from nothing every single month? That feeling can get heavy fast, because it's easy to turn it inward and assume it means something about you, like you're behind, like everyone else figured something out that you didn't, like maybe you just aren't good with money. But here's the part most people never hear clearly enough. Starting from $0 saved is not some financial failure state. It's actually the closest thing to a clean system reset you'll ever get. There are no messy investments to undo, no complicated portfolios to rebalance, no habits that are too deeply locked in to change quickly. It's just you, your income, and the next decision you make. And when you look at it that way, something shifts. The pressure starts to loosen a bit. Not because the situation magically changes, but because the meaning of it changes. You stop seeing it as a dead end and start seeing it as raw material. And that's where things get interesting. Because when you're starting from zero, even small structural changes don't just help your finances. They show up fast. You actually feel them. There's a very simple 2026 blueprint that builds on exactly this idea. Nothing extreme, nothing unrealistic. Just a way to turn that $0 starting point into visible progress in a matter of months, if the system is set up right. Over the years, when you look closely at how people actually behave with money, not in theory, but in real life patterns, you start noticing something pretty consistent. It doesn't really matter whether someone is earning $30,000 a year or $200,000 a year. The emotional experience of money management often feels surprisingly similar at the beginning. There's the same cycle. Get paid, feel briefly stable, handle expenses, and then wonder why nothing is actually accumulating in the background. And when you spend enough time observing that pattern, especially across people who start from zero and manage to rebuild themselves financially, you begin to see a divide that has less to do with intelligence or discipline and much more to do with structure. Some people rebuild quickly, not because they suddenly start earning dramatically more, but because they unintentionally stumble into systems that force clarity. Automatic savings, strict spending boundaries, simple rules they don't constantly renegotiate. And then there are others who stay stuck for years, even as their income slowly increases. They work hard, they try to budget, they even make mental commitments, but everything stays reactive. Money comes in, money goes out, and the space in between never gets defined. From a broader perspective, this has only become more pronounced over the last decade. Inflation has quietly raised the baseline cost of living, subscription-based spending has made expenses more invisible, and lifestyle creep now doesn't wait for promotions. It starts as soon as income stabilizes, even slightly. So what used to be a save what's left over approach doesn't really work the same way anymore. There's often nothing left over in the first place. When you zoom out on all of this, one pattern becomes very hard to ignore. Most people don't fail financially because they don't earn enough. They fail because they don't have a system from day one. If you're in that phase where money comes in and it already feels like it's spoken for before you even touch it, you're not imagining it. It's almost automatic. Salary hits the account and within a few days, or sometimes even hours, it's already distributed across rent, food, bills, transport, small expenses that don't feel big individually, but somehow add up to everything. And what's left isn't really savings, it's just survival space until the next cycle begins. A lot of people try to fix this in small ways. Download a budgeting app, set up a spreadsheet, maybe even go through a motivated weekend where everything feels under control. But then real life comes back in and the system quietly disappears. Not because of laziness, but because it wasn't designed to survive daily decision-making pressure. And there's another layer people don't talk about enough. Most financial advice assumes you already have something to work with. It starts from invest your extra income or optimize your portfolio, as if the first step, actually accumulating anything, is already solved. If you're at zero or close to it, that kind of advice can feel like it's speaking to someone else entirely. So you end up in this strange middle space where you're trying, but nothing is sticking, and it starts to feel like maybe you're just not good at this. But the reality is much simpler and less personal than it feels. The problem is not effort, it's structure. And being in that position doesn't mean you're behind in some permanent way. It usually just means there's no system in place yet that turns your income into something that stays. When you look closely at people who actually manage to go from $0 save to having real financial stability, it rarely happens in a chaotic or random way. There's usually a very simple structure underneath it, even if they didn't realize it at the time. It tends to move in phases. The first phase is what I'd call stabilization, and this is where most people skip ahead too quickly. They try to save, invest, optimize, but their cash flow is still completely untracked. Stabilization is not about improving your money yet. It's just about finally seeing it clearly, knowing where it goes. Rent, food, subscriptions, transport, small spending patterns you normally don't think about. Not to judge yourself, but to remove the guesswork, because you can't control what you don't actually see. Then comes what I'd call the micro savings phase. This is where things start to shift emotionally. Instead of trying to save large, stressful amounts that don't last, you start with something almost uncomfortably small, but automatic. It could be a tiny percentage or a fixed amount that feels almost insignificant. The key isn't the size. It's the fact that it happens without negotiation. It becomes part of the system, not a daily decision. After that, there's the emergency buffer phase. And this is not a full emergency fund in the traditional sense. It's just enough to stop small financial shocks from resetting your progress. A broken phone, an unexpected bill, a delayed payment. These things shouldn't push you back to zero every time. Even a small buffer changes that dynamic completely. And running through all of this is something most people underestimate: behavioral reset. Because in the first few months, it's not income that changes your trajectory, it's habits. The way you respond to spending decisions, the way you treat savings, the way you stop restarting every month from scratch. And when you step back from all of it, the idea becomes surprisingly simple. You don't need a perfect financial situation. You need a repeatable system. At the most basic level, personal finance really only has a few moving parts. The problem is that most people are never shown them in a way that feels intuitive. Take cash flow, for example. The simplest way to think about it is just money coming in versus money going out. Imagine a bucket with water pouring in from the top and water leaking out from different holes at the bottom. Your income is what fills the bucket. Your expenses are the leaks. If the leaks are bigger than the inflow, the bucket never really fills up. Not because you're doing something wrong in a moral sense, but because the structure doesn't allow accumulation. At the most basic level, personal finance really only has a few moving parts. The problem is that most people are never shown them in a way that feels intuitive. Take cash flow, for example. The simplest way to think about it is just money coming in versus money going out. Imagine a bucket with water pouring in from the top and water leaking out from different holes at the bottom. Your income is what fills the bucket. Your expenses are the leaks. If the leaks are bigger than the inflow, the bucket never really fills up. Not because you're doing something wrong in a moral sense, but because the structure doesn't allow accumulation. Savings is just the part of that water that actually stays in the bucket. It's not a separate skill or a different type of money. It's simply what remains after the outflow is controlled long enough for something to accumulate. And then there's the emergency fund, which is really just a small protected layer in that bucket. It's not there to grow wealth. It's there so that when something unexpected happens, because something always does, you don't have to drain everything you've built just to stay stable. Most people who feel stuck at $0 savings don't actually have a knowledge problem. They already understand, at least in theory, that they should spend less and save more. The real issue is that their financial life doesn't have a structure that makes those things happen automatically. Once you understand this, everything else becomes easier. Not because it's simpler, but because it becomes organized. Starting from $0 in savings often feels neutral in the moment, like just a temporary state of being busy or early in your financial journey. But in practice, it tends to push your life in one of two directions depending on what happens next. If nothing changes structurally, that zero doesn't stay neutral for long. It quietly turns into repeated cycles of instability. An unexpected expense shows up and there's no buffer, so debt becomes the only option. A small setback happens and it delays everything else. Long-term goals like investing or building assets stay theoretical because there's never actually any space for them to begin. Over time, that creates a kind of background stress that people normalize. You get used to operating in reaction mode instead of planning mode. But the interesting part is what happens when even small structure is introduced early. Not large changes, not dramatic savings, just consistency that starts to hold. That's where something called financial momentum begins to show up. And it's not about the amount, it's about repetition. The first time you see even a small balance grow instead of reset to zero, it changes how you think about money. The second time reinforces it, and slowly, behavior starts to shift without forcing it. People underestimate how quickly this compounds mentally. Small wins early on tend to reshape decisions more than large plans set for the future that never actually get executed. And that's really the core distinction here. This is not about how much money you have today, it's about whether your system can hold money at all. Starting from $0 in savings often feels neutral in the moment, like just a temporary state of being busy or early in your financial journey. But in practice, it tends to push your life in one of two directions, depending on what happens next. If nothing changes structurally, that zero doesn't stay neutral for long. It quietly turns into repeated cycles of instability. An unexpected expense shows up and there's no buffer, so debt becomes the only option. A small setback happens and it delays everything else. Long-term goals like investing or building assets stay theoretical because there's never actually any space for them to begin. Over time, that creates a kind of background stress that people normalize. You get used to operating in reaction mode instead of planning mode. But the interesting part is what happens when even small structure is introduced early. Not large changes, not dramatic savings, just consistency that starts to hold. That's where something called financial momentum begins to show up. And it's not about the amount, it's about repetition. The first time you see even a small balance grow instead of reset to zero, it changes how you think about money. The second time reinforces it, and slowly, behavior starts to shift without forcing it. People underestimate how quickly this compounds mentally. Small wins early on tend to reshape decisions more than large plans set for the future that never actually get executed. And that's really the core distinction here. This is not about how much money you have today, it's about whether your system can hold money at all. There are a few very common traps people fall into when they're trying to get their finances in order from zero, and most of them don't come from lack of effort, they come from overthinking the process. One of the biggest is waiting to earn more first before saving anything. It feels logical, like saving only matters once you're comfortable. But in reality, income increases don't fix the underlying behavior. If there's no system at $1,000 income, there usually isn't one at $3,000 either. It just scales the same pattern. Another mistake is overcomplicating budgeting. People create detailed spreadsheets with 10 or 15 categories, tracking everything perfectly for a week, and then quietly stop using it. Not because it was wrong, but because it was too mentally heavy to maintain in real life. Then there's the extreme restriction phase, cutting everything at once, trying to become overly disciplined overnight. It often works for a few days, sometimes even a couple of weeks, but it rarely survives normal life pressures. One small slip usually resets the entire effort. And finally, ignoring small expenses because they feel insignificant. But those small leaks are often what prevent any real accumulation in the first place. Most of these failures aren't about intelligence, they're about inconsistency. Most people don't need a better strategy, they need a simpler one they can actually follow. If you're watching this and thinking about your own situation, I want you to pause on something for a moment. Not to judge it, just to notice it. Have you ever actually tried to save before, even in a small way, and then watched it slowly fall apart after a few weeks or a month? Not because you didn't care, but because life just kept interrupting the plan. And if that's happened, it's worth asking what usually breaks it. Is it unexpected expenses? Is it forgetting? Is it feeling like the amount is too small to matter so it becomes easy to stop? Or is it just that nothing in your financial setup really supports consistency in the first place? Because for a lot of people, the hardest part of money management isn't knowing what to do. It's keeping it going when real life gets messy. And I'm genuinely curious where you feel that friction most right now. Is it saving? Is it tracking spending? Is it just feeling like you're always resetting every month? You can share it if you want, because a lot of people are in the same starting point, even if it doesn't look like it from the outside. And sometimes just seeing that you're not the only one dealing with the same pattern makes it a little easier to understand what's actually going on. If you zoom out on everything we've talked about, the core idea is actually much simpler than it first appears. Starting from $0 isn't a disadvantage in the way people usually think. It's not a permanent label or a sign that you're behind in some irreversible way. In a strange way, it's actually one of the clearest starting points you can have because it forces the question of structure right from day one. And the process always comes back to a few fundamentals. First, you control cash flow before anything else, because without understanding where money is going, nothing else really holds. Then you automate small savings, not to impress yourself with the amount, but to build consistency that doesn't rely on motivation. And over time, you focus less on scale and more on whether the system is actually holding. What surprises most people is how quickly things can start to shift once that structure is in place. Not dramatically overnight, but gradually in a way that builds momentum you can actually feel. Because financial progress is rarely linear. There are ups and downs, slow periods, unexpected setbacks, but when there's a system underneath it, it stops feeling random. The goal isn't to transform your finances overnight, it's to make sure they finally start moving in one direction. If this idea made sense to you, the next step isn't to rush into changing everything at once. It's just to keep building on the same foundation you've started to see here. Because once your cash flow starts making sense, the conversation naturally shifts. You start wondering how budgeting connects to income growth, why some people stay stuck even when they earn more, and eventually how saving money turns into actually growing it in a structured, long-term way. That's really the progression most people go through when they finally stabilize their finances. It stops being about fixing problems and starts becoming about understanding systems. So instead of trying to force big changes overnight, it's more useful to stay in that learning mindset. Small improvements, clearer structure, better consistency. That's where real change usually comes from. If this resonated with you, the natural next step is understanding how people move from simply saving money to actually growing it in a way that builds long-term financial stability. Because financial clarity is built slowly, but it compounds just like money does.